Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to share with you how to use Silhouette Design Studio software and how to take different file formats and turn it into usable stickers that you can use in your planners or your bullet journals. I know there are a lot of tutorials out there, but I find this is what worked for me. So I will be covering SVG files, PDF files, and PNG files. I'll specifically be looking at what I put out for you so that you can see how to use specifically my files, but I'm also going to use some more generic PDFs so that you can get an idea of how to use other people's files too. So I hope you find this helpful. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I have Silhouette Studio Business Edition, but I know you can make these changes in the Designer Edition as well. I'm not sure about the Basic, but definitely the Designer and the Business Edition. So I'm going to start off with the files that can be available to you. So I have a variety. I have JPEGs, I have PDFs, SVGs, and I have PNGs. So we're going to start off with the popsicles, with the PDF. Now we're going to start with from the ground, and we're going to go up from there. So this is just a generic standard PDF file. So we're going to go back into our Silhouette Studio. We're going to open up our PDF, and then we're going to import it as a vector. Now it comes in pretty big, but that's okay. I want to make it smaller, so let's just make it a bit smaller there to just make it more manageable. And then we're going to go to our image trace panel, and that's this weird little butterfly looking thing. And when you open up this menu, you're going to get the option to select trace area. So we're going to click on that, and as you can see, our cursor has become a bit of a crosshairs over there. And we're going to highlight what we want to trace. Now, the next thing you want to look at is your threshold. I use 98-99%. Sometimes if you use 100, it's going to pick up some other weird things going on along the sides. But I find with 98-99%, you're getting a much cleaner image. So I have it at 98. So then you have your option for trace style. There's your generic trace, which if you choose to do that, it's still going to be on the paper, but the images are still stuck to the white. And all that's going to happen is when you print and cut, it's going to just as is, stay as is, and you don't have much option to play with the images. Okay, so that's not what we want. Now we can, if we trace outer edge, we're going to see a very similar effect happen, so we don't want that either. So let's go back in here. The one we want is to trace and detach. Now if you take the white paper, if you take the white background, you'll see that the images have been removed completely, which is exactly what we want. Now if you go back into your send menu, you're going to see that the images are all ready to be cut. Now if that's what you want, great, you're all done. Well, you're not quite done. What you want to do is you want to go in, open up your page setup panel, select your registration mark menu, and turn on the registration marks. And then you're done. Then you can go in and print and cut your images. Now what I like about this is the option to manipulate your images a little bit. So if you want a border around your popsicle, you can go to, make sure to open up your offset panel, which is this weird little star within a star. And you're going to click on the image that you want to offset, and you're going to hit offset. Now the distance is what allows you to change how wide the border is around your image. And once you're happy, you can apply. Now, one thing to note is when you go into your send menu, the machine's going to read both of those as a cuttable, and you don't want to do that. If you're putting a border around it, you don't want to do that. So make sure that you're clicking on the popsicle border, and you're going to go over here and you're going to hit no cut. And there you go. So now your image is ready to be cut with the border. So let's do the same here. Now also from the send menu, just quickly, as you can see, these guys all have a cut line. So we're going to put a border around them too. So if you want to take away the cut line automatically, just highlight them directly from the screen and hit no cut. You're going to go back to design. You're going to hit offset and apply. So now you can see that we went back into the send menu and it's not shown up as it's going to cut. Now that is because we already took the cut lines off. If you want to turn them back on for the borders, make sure to click on the borders. If you want to select multiple items, you just hit shift and you're going to hit cut. And there you go. Those are your images ready to cut. Now, if you want to cut these in a row, we can delete that. If you want to, let's say this is your full image, you want these 4 popsicles all together, you're going to select them all. You're going to hit offset, and then you're going to increase your distance into something that's going to capture all of them. So as you can see there, they are overlapping. If you hit apply, it's going to create that border. If that's a little bit too thick, just select the border again, and you're going to hit internal offset. And that's going to give you the option to make that border a little less wide. And you can hit apply. And take this guy out. Okay. So that's the basic instructions for how to use print and cut. And now that's a PDF. If we open up a JPEG, let's open up this guy, it's going to be the same. The image is going to come in large, so let's just make it smaller to where we want it, or where we can see it rather. Okay, and then same story, we're going to go to the image trace panel. We're going to select our trace area, and we're just going to do these 3 for now. Our threshold, we're going to put up to 98%. And we're going to trace and detach. Now what's happened here is each individual letter has been separated. So if you look, there's Monday and Tuesday. So what I tend to do is I'll go in and group them. Oopsies. I'll go in and group them. And that way you're keeping those letters together. I don't know what's going on with my computer here. It's being very sensitive. Okay, there we go. We're going to go in and group them. Now, if you go into your send menu, it's going to cut each of these letters individually. And if you want to peel each letter off the paper individually, good for you. I'm not interested in doing that. So we're going to offset. So now our offset menu is already open, but let's say we forgot where to look for it. We can right click and select offset from here, and it's going to open that menu for you. And then we are going to set our border. We're going to hit apply. So that the internal offset is highlighting inside the letters, and that's not what we want at all. So we're going to just go back here. We're going to hit the outer border, and we're going to hit internal offset. And then we're going to get a more even border around the edge. We're going to delete this. Now, normally I would go ahead and group these, but first you have to play with the cut settings. So let's go to the send menu. And then since we've already grouped the letters, we just have to click on the internal, and we're just going to say no cut, and it's going to keep the border for us. And then again, don't forget to add your registration marks. So you can go to the page setup menu, click on the registration marks option, and you're going to put it on. The other thing you can do is you can go to view and click on registration marks, and that's going to bring it up for you as well. Okay, now we're going to open up, let's open up one of the files that I create. Now, I create a PNG file, an SVG file, and a PDF file for you. Your best option is the SVG file. you're going to want to download that. So we're going to open up our SVG file and we're going to take a look. Okay, so here it is. We're going to go in here. Now, as you can see, I have a light blue line around the edge. So if you turn on your registration marks, you're going to see that that light blue line is just on the border. Okay, and if we go to our send menu, you're going to see that it's set up, everything is set up to cut. Now, when you're cutting stickers and you want that shop feel for your stickers, you don't want this at all. You're going to want to go to the line option in your print menu, in your send menu. So when you go to the line option, it reads the different lines. So for example, here's the blue line, which is the outer edge. You can see me toggle it on and off. And then here's the black line, which is my logo. So we're going to turn that off because we don't want to print each of those letters individually. And then we're going to go back to our design. Now, in order to get these individual stickers to print, again, we're going to open our trace menu, select our trace area, and highlight just the inner portion. We're going to put our threshold up to 98. And this is where we're going to trace the outer edge. Okay. Now we're going to do the exact same for the second page. Threshold we're going to set to 98. And trace outer edge. If we trace and detach, it's going to remove it from the sheet. It's not a big deal unless we remove the background, but I mean, you have options. So now let's go back to our send menu, and you're going to see that there is now a red option for you. So now what's great about this is you can set your blue line to cut completely through. So let's say cardstock plain, and then you can select your red to be sticker paper white. And what that's going to do is, or clear, or whatever you're using. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you more of that shop feel where you have your individual separate sheet and then you have your stickers on it. So very similar to the images I showed in the opening frames of this video. Okay, so now we're going to go in and we're going to take a look at the PNG file. Now, a PNG file and a JPEG file are both photo/image files. A PNG file is just better quality or a higher quality image than a JPEG. And that's the biggest difference between the two that you need to know at this level anyways. Okay, so there we have our PNG file. If you go to your send menu, it's not going to pick up anything, just the outer edge, and that's because it's just a photo. So if we open up our trace menu and we select our trace area and highlight all of it, and as with the SVG file, or sorry, the PNG, the PDF file from earlier, we're going to set this up here, 98. So if we select trace and detach, all it does is it's just going to trace the outer edge to allow us to get rid of the background. So that's not really what we want. We want each individual sticker to be cut as well. So we're going to select the entire trace area, and we're going to select this option, just the trace. Oopsies, I forgot my threshold. So let's jack up our threshold, 98, and we're going to trace. So when we go to our send menu, we're going to see that that is exactly what we want. But because it's all grouped together, it's going to take away the cut lines for the entire place, and that's for the entire sheet, and that's not what we want. So we're going to go back in here, we're going to hit cut. Perfect. So if you don't want that, the logo cut, for example, and you're going to select release compound path. So what that does is that breaks down each individual element of the sticker sheet, including the logo. So we can highlight this, go back in here, we're going to hit no cut, And again, we're going to highlight this. Let's go from the bottom here. Send. No cut. Okay, so that's taken away the edge. We don't want that, so let's go cut. Or if you do want that, you could just put that, leave that as no cut either. But that's how you're going to get your sticker sheet in that way. Now, let's say you want the same option with the SVG as you have for the same option for this guy as you have for the SVG. We're going to go and we're going to change our line to blue. Okay, we're going to go back to our send menu. We're going to pick line, and there you have it. You're going to be able to cut your blue line and you're going to be able to cut your red line. Again, to go a bit slower, highlight the line that you want cut, the line you want to change. You're going to go into this line style menu and you're going to pick the color you want to designate. Doesn't have to be blue, it can be any color, and then it's going to show up and it's going to allow you to cut the elements the way you can with an SVG. So when we do the line colors, you're going to see that we have the logo is highlighted again because it's still got the red background. So we're going to go into our design, we're going to highlight this, and we're going to give it a different color. So in this case, we're just going to give it black. Make it a black line, or whatever color that is. I don't know. Okay, and then just go back. Okay, so now we have our colors lined up. We can go to our send menu, and here's where we're going to be able to play with our different items. So here we have the black outline. We don't want that printed. We just want the red and the blue. Now, as you can see, there's a line missing here. You can either cut that manually, or if you're so inclined, you can take the line tool, which is on the left hand side of the page, and you can line it up and pull it across and change that guy to blue. We're going to hit send, and there you go. Basically, it's easier to manipulate the PNG into an SVG file, but you're going to see now with the PDF that it's going to take a bit more work. So let's go play with the PDF. Okay, so here is our PDF page. Now, if you look closely, you're going to see that that outer blue edge line is there, but honestly, in the PDF, that doesn't mean anything. So if we go to our cut menu, doesn't mean anything. It's very much like an image. It's a document version of an image. Let's call it that. Okay, so we're going to go to our trace menu. We're going to trace everything. Threshold 98, 99. Sorry, I just want that line to show up there. Okay, it's not. So we're going to trace and detach. And then we're going to be able to remove this background. Okay, and we're going to be left with that blue surrounding the pictures. So again, we're going to select our trace area. You don't have to remove that background. I'm just doing it to show you how to get that shop feel for the stickers that you download. We're going to trace these guys. And there we have it again. So now the PDF is going to start acting like the PNG. And here's where we can start playing again. So we can highlight these guys. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I forgot the critical step. So just like the PNG, you're going to want to right click and release compound path. And that's going to break down each of the elements. We're going to highlight the logo. Let's make the line black. Let's highlight the logo, make the line black. Okay, we're going to go back in here, turn this line blue. Back in here, turn this line blue. We're going to go to the send menu. We're going to go to our line, And there you have it. So we don't want the black to be cut. Sorry, it's taking a little while to populate, that's why. So there we go. And that's how you're going to get your PDF to act like your PNG as well. Again, you can do your simple cut as well. You just have to go in and designate what you don't want cut. And Bob's your uncle, or you can go in there and just cut the outer edge. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I just love this line cut function that Silhouette Studio has, and that's how you're going to get your printable stickers to look like stickers you'd order from a shop. So let's go back to our design. Also, do not forget to turn on your registration marks. Page setup, and it's the third option on the top row for your registration marks, or it's in view, registration marks. Okay, I hope you found this helpful today, and I hope you're able to print my stickers now if you weren't printing them before. If you do not have Silhouette Studio, if you do not have a Silhouette cutting machine, if you have a Cricut, I believe the process is similar. You just use your Cricut terminology versus your Silhouette terminology. And honestly, a pair of scissors works just as well. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching today.